Good evening, this is Brian Johnson. Make sure you turn up your sound. Once again, make sure you turn up your sound. Hey, thanks for joining me on Monday night. Tonight's topic is going to be about how to identify, recognize, and eliminate self-sabotage once and for all. That's right. Most people on the planet that I am aware of, that I've had interaction and comments and conversations with, are not living up to their fullest potential. They will flat out tell you, I'm not happy in my relationship. I'm not happy with my relationship with myself. I'm not happy with my health. I'm not happy in my career. I'm not happy with where my family's at. I'm not happy with maybe the way I'm being a dad or a mom or a brother or a sister or a partner or a husband or a wife. All of this exists. And if I'm talking to you, I'm coming to you live specifically with things that I have found to transform my life from those exact situations into my current level of functioning in my current life, which exists now. And I'm gladly going to share it with you tonight. So if this is your first time, type first timer. If you are a veteran like Miss Rachel, Miss Rebecca Ann, I appreciate you. I love you. And I'm thankful that you tune in consistently. And as always, please share my message. This way I can support your friends. I can support the people in your life that require this information, because no matter what, somehow, somewhere, this information... Oh, man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Kurt Molly, back on the land of the face of the books. Welcome, my friend. So it's great to see you. So if you have not shared, please do already. Like I said, if this is your first time, type first timer. If this is your first time and you are not connected with us on my email list so that you can receive our notes for tonight's training, which I have an amazing book of information and wisdom that is in my notes. So if you do not have them, make sure you go up to step 1 and register. That way you can get the notes that go out. You can also get our updates when they go out, so you can stay in tune with what we do and what's going on. I appreciate you, Rachel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get going. What's up, Miss Cynthia Pritchard? Welcome aboard. Great to see you. Looking forward to seeing you on Thursday. So here we go. Let's have some fun. So first off, with your permission, I'm going to share with you my why, meaning why do I do what I'm doing right now? Because there's obviously a lot of other things I could be doing rather than invest in my every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. right here on this station with you. And I do this because I am super enthusiastic about sharing with you. I'm super enthusiastic about giving you the wisdom that I have invested a lot of time, money, and resources in, and mastering and being a student of in my own life. I have used these exact skill sets to bring myself back from jail, from suicide, from being high on every drug you could possibly imagine, to being 250 pounds 3 different times. This is the exact information that I have used to take me from the depths of the pits that I was in to the heights and the trajectories that I'm currently in and where I'm going. And I'm going to give you this information for free. My only invitation to you is this. You have 2 options. You can take it or you can leave it. My invitation to you is to trust me. Give me 1% of your trust, and undoubtedly I will earn the other 99. Make a decision now to open your mind to what I'm about to share with you, because I have multiple clients on that here tonight already that pay me a very decent amount of money to share and to do the things with them that I do. And you are going to get firsthand experience of some of these tools and tactics that I use tonight. So with your permission, I'm going to be Brian, because that's the only person that I know how to be. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to get a little Q&A going right now. So from a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being amazing, 1 being, man, I wish I could go back to bed. Where are you at on that scale tonight? Let's do a little check-in so I know how to best serve you as I'm going along through my content tonight. It's always my first interest and first intention is to make sure that I provide amazing value for you and to make sure that I give you relevant information. So that way you can use this information today, right here, right now, because this is the only time that actually exists. Tomorrow will never exist again unless you consistently live in it, and tomorrow may never happen. So my encouragement to you is to be here now, fully present. What's up, Irma? Good to see you. All right, so let's go ahead and have some fun. I appreciate you sharing. Thank you very much. That means an awful lot to me, because that is really the only way that I can support or to be the fullest version of myself is to have your support, and obviously your love and trust is super important to me, and that is the most valuable thing that I could possibly have is my relationship. So with that in mind, I appreciate you once again. So here's the thing, my story, I told you a little bit about it, and it's not really about me at all, and it's about the obstacles that I have been through to overcome, to let you know that if you are serious about showing up to your life, it is 100% possible for you to create anything that you choose and desire to do so. Period. I will say that again. It is completely possible, 100% doable for you to choose right now to step up and to create everything that you desire in life. And it's going to take a choice, and it's going to take you taking full responsibility for where you're at, no matter what that looks like. All right? And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. I appreciate you, Irma. All right, so the key is this. If you decide to not change anything about your life and about how you are currently functioning, operating, and showing up in your life, what is that going to cost you? Let's future pace 1 year from now and you make no changes in your life. What is that going to mean for you? Does that mean your relationships are going to be thriving? Does that mean your business is going to be thriving? Does that mean that your health is going to be thriving? What's up, Miss Caitlin? What does that mean for you if you do not make any changes in your life 1 year from now? Where will you be? And most importantly, will you be happy with that? Will you be happy with where you're at? What happens if you go 5 years out from now, provided you're not taken off of the planet, myself included? I have no idea. One of the guys, I'd never met him. He's one of the guys from Six Pack Shortcuts. All of a sudden, I see something on Facebook last week, and it said, rest in peace, Clark. And lo and behold, he got into a motorcycle accident in Thailand, and he is no longer on the planet. Why do I say that? I say that to say this. You and I have no idea when our time is up. How much time is wasted? When I say wasted, I think about watching football on the news. I was like, there's nothing more wasteful to me than watching someone else live out their dream. If I'm watching the news or watching football, then I got some other things I could be doing. And I'm not bashing anyone that does. This is just what Brian does for Brian. This is the filter that I run myself through. So my question to you is this. Where are you at in your life? And I would like some interaction right now. So this is a question. This is not a rhetorical question. Here's your two options. Are you happy or sad? Or happy, anger, resentful? Let's put something in there. It doesn't matter. Whatever your heart says, put it out and let's see where you're at. Still insane and lost in my head. Get out of your head and in your body and watch the stuff that I showed you yesterday. That's going to be the secret to you moving forward, Caitlin. And I love you. So where are you at right now? Sad, happy, good, Rachel. Thank you for your feedback. Where are you at on your journey? And if you're watching this, and this is not Monday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, which means you are watching the replay, I will get back to you extremely fast. I am extremely active on Facebook, so if I miss you for a moment, bear with me, forgive me. I am human, and I will make it around to getting you taken care of. Very sad, depressed, and stuck. All right, Rebecca Ann, sounds like a conversation. What's up, Miss Susan Zepp? Great to connect with you tonight. Miss Audrey Nicole, one of my all-time favorites. I'm a happy and centered gal filled with lots of love to share. Perfect, because the world requires it. I'm not sure if you've seen all of what's going on. What I catch on the snippets here and there is completely a lot available for us to share and do. All right, so we got some good comments on the table, so let's go ahead and get to work. And if you have not shared and you just popped aboard, please share, and I appreciate you. So here we go. Now that we understand, what is it costing you to stay the same and to stay stuck? What's up, Rita? Welcome aboard. All of you that are stuck, if you're open-minded to making some changes, message me and we can have a conversation and help you get unstuck pretty fast. If you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to give yourself permission to be comfortable being uncomfortable, we can talk. Because guess what? There's nothing comfortable about growth. And I'll be honest with you. I'm always being honest with you. I just find myself, I'm going to be real honest with you now. My class that I had with Bob, my body language and conscious language coach last week, I had 2 experiences where I cried like a baby in front of a whole room of people. He has a way of bringing things out that I was operating off of that I had no idea. And you know, for most people, that's like a big deal. And for me, that was a big deal. There was nothing comfortable about crying in front of 20 people like a baby. Nothing about it. And I knew that for me, that it was completely okay. And I was doing it to allow other people to set themselves free to do the same thing if that's what was necessary. And I felt a lot better after I did, and I was able to unroot some experiences and some belief systems that I was operating off of unknowingly for 38 years. What's up, my brother Jake Woodard? It's always good to see you, bro. So, question to you is this, like, here's the most important question. If you're really looking to resolve self-sabotage and you're really looking to dissolve and resolve functioning in self-sabotage and turning it into self-empowerment, here's the first question that you get to ask, okay? You get to ask yourself, when did I fall out of love with myself first? I'm going to repeat that again. When did I fall out of love with myself first? And you may ask, Brian, why in the world are you asking me that? Because here's the reason why. Until you love yourself, period, everything that you do is set up on default for sabotage, period. When you don't love yourself, not a thing that you build in your life is going to stand the test, period. It's not built on love. It's built on fear. It's built on I don't love myself, whatever that may be. So here's the question right now. Do you love yourself? What's your response? Well, that's good feedback, Rebecca. When's now a good time to make some new choices? Question is, do you love yourself? That's what's on deck right now. Response required. In order to grow, and in order to expand and to enlighten and to be the best version of yourself, it gets to be a little uncomfortable. When I was forgotten by my parents, yep. That's your strength returning. And we can talk about that. Okay? So finding out when you fell out of love with yourself first, and I'm going straight off of my notes, is by far the most important thing that you could ask yourself and to find out. Because for me, I fell out of my love with myself when I was 20 years old. I had a situation, went south. I was suicidal, didn't understand how to process the emotions. And for 8, 12, 13 years, good. For 13 years, I was functioning off of I don't love myself and I'm not good enough. And I had no idea consciously that that's what I was operating off of. I was just showing up in certain ways and experiencing certain things in my life that later in life, once I was awake to what I was experiencing, I realized that I was creating all of it. Okay. What's up, Zilla? It's always great to see you. All right. So here's the thing. So once you figure that part out, like how much longer are you willing to stay the same? Because here's the unfortunate part about human beings. Human beings awake, consciously awake, not asleep, meaning understanding that I'm creating everything and I get to make new choices to create new experiences. Human beings are prone to push away from pain, to avoid it, to look the other way. When that happens is, that means you're not going to be pushing forward into your best, highest self because it's going to equal some uncomfortable situations. And here's the thing. Human beings will typically only change when there is so much pain they cannot stand it any longer. How much pain is necessary before you decide to change? Here's what I've found about men and women. The difference between men and women is when men are upset and are depressed, they will kill themselves. Women will not. They will drink themselves and eat pills and things like that because they don't have the testosterone to pull the trigger. Whatever that means for you, we get to figure it out. The real question is this: are you ready to make the change? Are you ready to step up and into your life and do what is necessary for you to thrive? That's the question. That's right. Embrace the pain. Because pain is inevitable. Hurting is optional. Okay? Imagine how much better your life will be when you understand the skill sets necessary to recognize when you are functioning in a sabotage pattern. And imagine how much better your life will be when you understand the solutions to resolve it. Because most people do not know that they're not even knowing. They don't know that they don't know. I didn't know what I didn't know. I don't know what I don't know. No one does. And until you're awake, until you're enlightened, and someone shares some wisdom with you that makes sense, and you are on your journey of being awake and ready to receive that pearl, most of the time it's talking about pearls being cast before swine, meaning wisdom cast before people that are not awake and ready to receive it. And I know for a fact, if you're on my training, this does not apply to you. Imagine how much better things will be when you understand what you get to do to shift and to change these things. And you know what? In that process, who is the most important person in your life? This is a question that is a required response is required. Who is the most important person in your life? Dun, dun, dun. Good. That's right, Rachel. That's right, Rebecca. It's you, myself. That's right. You know why? Scripturally speaking, love your neighbor as yourself implies you must love yourself first before you can love your neighbor. That's one of those behind the door statements that you can't see unless you're really paying attention and thinking ahead. Okay? You get to love yourself first. So your whole homework tonight, before you step off and do anything, is to give yourself permission to remember. Like, here's exactly what you're going to say. Okay, hey, hold on. I'm going to turn my fan a little higher. Here's what you're going to say. You are going to say, I give myself permission to remember the first time I fell out of love with myself. Why are you going to say that? You're going to say that because in order for you to move forward in your life, you get to figure out when that experience happened. Because until you figure out where you fell off your mark or splintered off of your mark, everything that you do and everything that you build, from your financial success to your relationships, to your personal health, to your business, your health and wellness goals, the relationships in your life, everything that you build is going to be built on a faulty foundation. Naturally, that's not what we want, right? Of course not. Any person in their right mind is going to say, you know what? I choose to have the best, whether I'm giving it to myself or not. That's another question. I choose to have the best, period. And I know you do too, right? Of course. Okay? So here we go. We're going to start getting into step one. Like I said, there's 5 steps I'm going to share with you, but of course there's some context and some foundations that I get to share and build with you. And for those of you that are just popping on, welcome aboard. If this is your first timer, just type first timer so we can make sure you're loved on. Second thing, make sure you go to step 1 and hop on our email list so you can get the notes for my trainings when they go out, as well as Chris's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The next thing is right now we're going through step 1, and if you feel called, please share my broadcast. That is the best way you could thank me. And most importantly, without me even being in the picture, that's how you're going to be able to support a lot more people that I currently cannot reach. And I appreciate your help. Okay? So here we go. Step number 1. How does sabotage show up? So here's how I would like a response from you. How does sabotage show up? What do you notice? How do you notice? What shows up for you in your life when sabotage shows up? Just give me some examples of what you notice in your experience. There's no wrong or rights. You're all in a secure space. So give yourself full permission to be you fully and authentically. You all know me well enough by now that I'm going to be Brian, and I ask you forgive me if I somehow say something that offends you, because I did say something that offended someone a couple of days ago, and I apologize. And sometimes I say things and I typically don't think about them too often before I do. I just let it roll. It's kind of how I roll. All right, blaming others. I definitely have some of that going on, and I've been triggered a lot. Like, I love Chris and I get triggered by him, and it's my own stuff. So I know for a fact there's things that I still get to work on. And let's be honest, right? Our relationships, the people in your life, are going to be like going to the Super Bowl. They're going to trigger you to high heaven. They're going to trigger everything in your life because they're there to teach you what you get to work on. And they're going to keep teaching you, and you're going to keep having cyclical experience of relationships and people showing up in your life to keep triggering this in you so that you can grow and so you can love it and forgive it. Okay? Okay, so great feedback, ladies. Any of my gents got some things to add in there? Bring some testosterone to our party? So, all right. That's good. So let's talk about that, okay? So here are some things you can recognize. All right, here are some things that show up. Here's just a list of them in no particular order. Ready? Open your ear, listen with your left side. Yeah, I also am a person who is like concerned about what other people think. So for those of you that do, here is an affirmation for you. I release myself from all need of approval and fear of disapproval. I'm going to say that one more time. I release myself from all need of approval and fear of disapproval. And do you see me scratch? Remembering. Oh, interesting. Thinking, knowing, and remembering. Knowing. I'm having a conversation with myself. I do this often. People probably think I'm pretty crazy, and for sure I am. I talk to myself out loud all the time. And here's the deal. I encourage you to talk to yourself out loud all the time, and to tell yourself loving things and give yourself good feedback and to love yourself. Because I assure you, you're going to have a conversation going on in your head, whether you're saying it out loud or internally, doesn't matter. It's going on. You're having 60,000 thoughts a day, and if you're not programming those thoughts in your own brain and in your own mind, guess what? You are being programmed totally. By media, by mom and dad in the past, by people, by environment, by all of that stuff. Oh, I am for sure crazy. Make no mistake about it. Nowadays, you have to be. Okay? So here we go. So here are some examples of upper limits challenges, and here's some examples of how sabotage shows up. Okay? Upper limits challenges. Physical health. Pain. Symptoms. Disease. Poverty. Mom, dad, cyclical relationship experiences, meaning experiences that keep showing up in your relationship, like maybe verbally abusive partners or emotionally abusive partners or physically abusive partners. Those things are cyclical because they have not been resolved internally. Okay? People that show up, places, circumstances, situations, experiences, and events are all ways that sabotage can show up. And that's not limited to, there may even be more than that. Okay? So here we go. Step 2, let's identify your current reality. What does that mean? Meaning if you don't know exactly where you are currently at, what your current reality is, there's no way to make any changes, because when you're making changes and you're not in your current reality, what happens is you are in turn creating false steps that are not set or rooted in your current moment of now. Why is that important? It's just like building your house on a faulty foundation or a sandy foundation. It's not going to work. You must get real and raw and relevant, as Mr. Garrett J. White would say. Get real and raw with yourself lovingly, and figure out exactly where you're at. This is one of the reasons why our emotional series and our body language series is so impactful, because it's going to help you to identify exactly where you are at. And it's going to give you the conscious language skill sets to resolve what you are experiencing. And let's be honest, that's what we're really looking for, right? Of course. Me too. I've seen it consistently create miracles, predictably and consistently on a day-to-day basis, every time it's used. By far, the two most valuable skill sets I use are body language and emotional breakthrough or conscious language. Okay? Now, identifying your current reality is, what emotion am I vibrating, or what emotion am I putting out most frequently? I have a lot of I wills and I cans and I wills and I cans going on. For those of you that are newcomers, I'm not digging in my nose. This is body language stuff. Okay? Here's what this means. What are you thinking about the most? What are you thinking about the most is going to tell you what feelings are going to follow that. Feelings follow thoughts. When you notice yourself going down a hole, gradually back yourself out the other way by one word at a time. Okay? Very important. Because a lot of times, it's a real challenge to go from not being in a great mood to totally flipping it and turning it around and going, woohoo, I'm in a great mood right now. That typically does not happen unless you're on drugs. Let's be honest, right? What you get to do is recognize where you're at. If you're functioning in sorrow, anger, unforgiveness, fear, resentment, whatever. Once you identify it, then we can say, okay, well, what can I do to start changing this? Perfect, right? All right. So now, how do I know where I'm operating at, or how do I know what I'm putting out? Here's the reason how. Due to the feelings that come directly from experiences, situations, circumstances, and events, and people. If you look around at your life, and you look at the people, you look at the circumstances, you look at the situations, you look at the events, and you look at the feelings that each one of those items creates in you, that's going to let you know what's operating in your life. Now, the more intensity you have in that specific emotion is going to make whatever happens faster on the other end faster. Here's what I mean by that. You've probably heard me tell this story. I'm going to tell it with you again because I think it's important for you. There was a time a little while back when I was driving down the road and I was irritated with Penny about something, and I had been resentful about it, and trying to forgive about it, but it just really was not working, okay? So I was driving down the road, it starts to rain, and I'm just being resentful, being egoic at that mind, just really rehearsing and going through the story and just being ridiculous, and was not being enough out of my ego to forgive and to move forward, okay? Setting my will to handle what I'm doing. Did you hear that? Pop! That's body language, okay? Now, I was heading downtown to my bros Kurt Malley's house. I was downtown. I'm pulling up at a stoplight. The car in front of me starts stopping, so I'm already stopping. And then all of a sudden, he starts stopping faster, and I start stopping faster, and sure enough, my car brakes locked up, and I, boom, hit him. Wasn't going by like 4 or 5 miles an hour. I did nothing to the guy's car. It really just screwed mine up a little bit. And you know what? As soon as that happened, I knew exactly why it happened. Because guess what? I was already feeling frustrated. I had already had anger. And guess what? What feeling did that wreck create in my life? Who's got a good guess? You are insane, Audrey Nicole. Amazing. So what feeling did that create in my life? What feeling would a wreck create in your life? And let's see what you got. Okay? It's going to create anger and it's going to create frustration. And that's exactly what happened in my life. I created that. And as soon as I had that, I gave myself permission to forgive it and to move forward because I knew exactly what happened. And I knew exactly that I created it. And here's the important part of that. If you look at your life and you see what's going on in your life, you totally are being magnetic. You are creating more of what you are experiencing. Now, the beauty of that is this. You can, at any point in time, like Audrey says, make a new choice. Choose something different. It does not have to keep going that way unless you keep going that way. You can totally change anything you choose to at any point in time. Like literally, when I say this, you are the creator of your life. Tears for Fears says it best. Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. And whatever the rest of it is. That's one of my favorite songs. And that's the absolute fact. We are created in God's image. You literally are creating everything in your life. And when you truly understand that, and you step back and say, all right, do I like this? No. Do I like that? No. Do I like that? No. Okay. What do I like? What do I choose? I choose this. Okay, what do I get to do to create this? You get to learn some new skill sets. You get to learn why you're not creating that. What's up, Jennifer? Welcome back. you get to learn what you're doing that is creating that in the first place. And if you're really serious about that, we're going to close up right now. If you're really serious about having and creating these things in your life, without a doubt, you need to get involved in our body language series and our emotional breakthrough series. Without a doubt, if you're really looking to create miracles in your life,